Hello students, welcome to lesson 15. We're going to learn about slopes. And the basic idea of slope is that it's a ratio of the change in the y values and the change in the x values. We're going to recognize positive and negative slopes. We're going to write slope from a graph, and then we're going to read a graph. And we're also going to know which slopes are steeper. All right, so let's take a look at these two lines. And the first thing we got to talk about is how do I tell the difference between these two lines? I can say, well, this one here is definitely steeper, but maybe you don't recognize steeper. So this line has point C and D. So I'm going to say, well, line C and D. And I'm going to put a line over it because that's line C and D. Right? And what is the slope of line C and D? Well, slope is basically moving from one point to another point. So how do I get from C to D? I can't say just go in a diagonal there. What I have to say is follow the graph lines, because those are definitely there. I don't know which diagonal to follow because some are steeper than others. So what I can say is from C, if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4 spots, and I go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, then the slope is 4 up and 5 over. And then for line CB, you go up 1 spot and go over 12 spots. So the slope for line CB is 1 over 12. Now, which one is steeper? Well, obviously, CD is steeper. And you notice 4/5 is bigger than 1/12. So slope is also, the bigger the slope, the more steep the line. Okay? All right, so we wrote the distance up and the distance over as a ratio. And up is the y values. That's a y value. And the over is the x values. So how far did we go up? How far did we get over? And that is called the slope, which you'll notice I'm calling M. So let's move on a little bit. Let's take a look at a different slope. How is CD different than AD? AD is going up. CD is going down, right? So what is the slope of CD? Well, if I went down 1 and over 3, 4, no, 1, 2, 3, I went over 4. So down 1 and over 4. Well, how do I say to go down 1? Well, just like any other number line. Here's 0. If I go up, they're positive, and if I go down, they're negative. So if I'm going down 1 and over 4, I'm going to make that a negative 1. So we can say the slope for CD is a negative slope because you're going down. All right, well, let's take a look at one more type of slope. So we have the slope of AB is going positive, and that slope goes up 2 and over 1. So the slope of AB is 2 over 1, and the slope of CD is down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, so that's a negative 3 over 1. How about EF? It's not going up, so it's not positive. It's not going down, so it's not negative. So what happens, what number is not positive and not negative? So the slope of EF is 0 over 3. because we're going over 3 spots. But it really doesn't matter because every line on there is a point. So really we just call it the slope of 0. So EF has a slope of 0. So we've got our 3 slopes. We've got a positive slope, we've got a negative slope, and we've got a 0 slope. The line goes up, the line goes down, the line goes straight across. Now on this problem, we actually had this problem before the break. Pauline mows lawn at a constant rate. Suppose she mowed a 35 square foot lawn in 2.5 minutes. So here's the graph of her mowing skills, and here's the table. And if she doesn't mow at all, she doesn't, spends no time mowing, she gets nothing done. If she spends 1 minute mowing, she gets 14 square feet of yard mowed, because her constant is, she's mowing at a constant rate, 35 feet over 2.5 minutes. If I take 35 divided by 2.5, I get 14. So if we take a close look at this graph, even though there's a bunch of lines going across, each line is 0.2, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1. So this is actually 1 minute across. And going up, we're going 5, 10, 15. Well, here's the point at 14, so it's just before 15. So if she mows for 1 minute, she mows 14 square feet of lawn. So we go up 14 and over 1. So the slope of this line is 14 over 1. And you'll notice if she mows for another minute, so here's 2, she goes up to 28. And we can see that on the graph over here, or on the table, 2 and 28. So if she went up another 14 and over another 1, because 14 plus 14 is 28, and 1 plus 1 is 2. And if she mowed for a third minute, how much more yard do you think would get mowed? That's right. She would mow another 14 square feet for another 1 minute across. And it goes on like that. So this is 3, and you can't see behind my head, but that's 42, and then 4, and 56. So she's mowing at a constant rate of 14 square feet every 1 minute. So every time we go 1 here, we go up 14. And we go 1 more over here, we go up another 14. 1 more over here, and we go up another 14. And you'll notice, kind of looks like triangles. But we want to make sure we know specific things about this graph. First of all, the rate that she's mowing is called the constant rate. And that is, in this example, 14. Because 35 divided by 2.5 gives us 14. And we got the 35 and the 2.5 from the problem. So the constant rate is 14, and the slope is 14 square feet of yard for every 1 minute. And if she mows grass for 2 minutes, she will mow 28 square feet of lawn. So we need to know everything about each graph like this, be able to find those points. All right. So our reflection to end is, a slope is defined by the change in y values over the change in x values. The larger the ratio of y to x values, the steeper the line. And positive slopes go up from left to right, negative slopes go down from left to right, and horizontal slopes have a slope of 0, or horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Slope can be the unit rate of a proportional relationship, and each step along the x-axis corresponds to the change in the y-axis of the unit rate. So if the unit rate is 14 for every 1 minute, every time you go over 1, you would go up 14 on your line. Okay. Homework is lesson 15, problems 1, 2, 3 to 14, and 15 to 17. So 1 to 17. Do not spend more than 15 minutes on your homework, but make sure you do 2 problems in each of these sections. So do 1 and 2, pick 2 problems from 3 to 14, and then pick 2 problems from 15 to 17. And then if you have more time, go back and do some more problems to get more practice until you feel comfortable. All right, so that is lesson 15. Have a great day.